To begin with, we need to know about the personal background of Martin Luther King. He was born in 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. He was influenced by Marx, Hegel, Shakespeare, and Gandhi. This, along with the experiences he lived as an American Baptist minister, led him to be the leader of the anti-segregation movement and the civil rights movement. The information given by Abraham Lincoln was a detonator for Martin Luther King to deliver the speech. Why? Because even after 100 years, the Emancipation Proclamation was proclaimed. Slavery and discrimination were also a trending topic in the American society. We also need to take into consideration the historical background the speech was delivered in. The speech given by Martin Luther King is clearly influenced by Abraham Lincoln, the first American president to proclaim the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed all slaves in a rebellious state. In the same way, Abraham Lincoln proclaimed the Civil War Proclamation, which stated that the Civil War was a fight for civil.
Kennedy was the president of the United States. He really was supportive with Martin Luther King and his ideology. He was willing to apply pressure in order to maintain the racial equality, and he was against discrimination. He was always looking for civil rights.
Social racial. A really important character during these years was Rosa Parks, since she was considered the mother of the civil rights movement. Also, some of the important situations that happened during these years were the march and also the manifestation of the people. On the other part, John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King met during these years, and it's really important to state that the speech of Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream, was located on the Lincoln Memorial. March. A really important march that happened during those years was the one of 1963, which was in order to manifest of the discrimination that was happening. Also, there were around 250,000 assistants, in which the 70% were black and the 30% were white.
Talking about the media, this speech was really powerful. It impacted society in a really big way. It appeared in the Boston Globe, it appeared in Washington Post, New York Times, and LA Times. This was a really powerful speech because it really helped people understand the problem, and it's really important for society to understand in order to make a change. It was also one of the top speeches in America.
Rhetorical figures are used in a speech in order to persuade people. One of the most used rhetorical figures on the speech is the allusion. In the first sentence, we can hear that Martin Luther King says, 5 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadows we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. He makes use of this sentence in order to provoke a feeling or patriotism in the population, since the person that he is referring to is.
After analyzing Martin Luther King's speech, we were looking for ideas in which he could give a speech in Mexico. We came to the conclusion that he could talk about the drug war. Drug war is a really controversial topic nowadays because it's a problem that's happening right now and it's affecting the whole population. So we thought he would talk about this and he would refer to it as a social problem. It could be political, it could even be historically, but we thought that his speeches were actually trying to convince people. And if he could convince the society to stop buying drugs and to stop consuming them, then this world will end.
Considering that Martin Luther King will be delivering a speech right now in Mexico City, he needs to pick strategic points and props, considering that the Mexican community and citizens are really proud of being Mexican, such as the Angel of Independence, surrounded by Mexican flags. This will help to address the audience and convince them that Mexicans are being enslaved by drugs.
On the social media part, we thought about two different positions that the social media can have. First of all, they can really put importance as the first speech that he gave in order to communicate his idea and spread it on the society. The second one is that as the government has a really important power on the social media, they can affect his position in order to affect the idea that arrives to the society. In conclusion, Martin Luther King is a really powerful character since he knows how to address a topic and how to persuade people of something.
We need to consider that this will help Mexican citizens to change the way they behave about drugs. We're facing a war, and with a speech delivered by such a great speaker like Martin Luther King, will help Mexican citizens to reduce the consume. At least, we hope so.